I forgot. Forgive me. Oh, I forgot to naturally. I should do recording of the program. But it's all right. Um, okay, let's continue from here. So that from reading skills, we go to developing study skills. From reading, we move to study. Then we're looking at guidelines for effective listening. If you want to study, you must listen. Then you look at note taking and note making. Then methods of making notes. The methods by which you make notes. Then preparing an outline. If you want to prepare an outline, basically it's a kind of skeletal structure or guideline for which you can develop later to an essay. Then the use of abbreviations. What it means is that you will in note taking the speaker or the lecturer is fast, so you must develop shorthand for writing some of the long words. Otherwise, you cannot catch up. So we talk about those things also. Then we look at basic grammar, sentence patterns, whether it's a complex sentence or um, complex sentence or hello, morning.
Oh, hi.
Ayo. Well, Zoom meeting, hello, hello.
Hello,
Then
sir.
remember also that we can have the sentences by function. What does it mean? Is a sentence a declarative statement, or is it an order or command, or is it an expository, or is it an exclamation? Those are the sentences by function. We have sentences by structure. How's the meaning of the word structure? Structure, or somebody can say structure. When they say structure, what does it mean?
Putting up something.
Not exactly. Say we want to
Structure
look at
can
it.
be an organized form of something.
Okay, so
Putting
what
up
is it?
something.
An
So
organized form of something or a systematic way of doing something or yeah.
systematic, systematic. So structure simply means how things are put together, how things are composed, the way the things are composed. Maybe if you did a bit of chemistry before, maybe talk about structure of chemical components and all that. So I think so. How are the sentences put together? Are they simple sentences or compound sentences or complex sentences? That is structure. Now, Raymond, who is Raymond S?
Please, your voice look a little bit far away from the microphone.
Unfortunately, I'm using a earpiece, so there is no way that it's close to it anyway. It's a network. I think it's a network.
Okay, sir.
Now, so have a look at sentences. We talk about concord. Concord is basically subject verb agreement. Subject verb agreement. Let me just say so for now. Then we'll be talking about writing skills, summary writing. when you were in a secondary school, you were doing summary writing, and many of you used to dodge classes. But now you have come to meet it again. It's waiting for you here. Now, the summary writing that we're going to do here is not like the secondary school one. This is quite, can I say, easy. It's a different kind of thing, and it's not tedious at all. If you pay attention to the way we're supposed to do it, and you pay attention well, then that is going to be easy for you. Okay, then we talk about sentence level summary, paragraph level summary, passage level summary. In other words, it's possible for you to have a long text like 2 pages. How are you going to summarize that to maybe just 100 words? If you go to the library and you see a big book, or you are given something to review in class, a paper to read, or a text or document, how are you going to be able to extract the essential points from that document? The same principle here will apply to those things. Now, the writing process. If you want to write, what do you do? For example, if you want to write an essay, what do? You need to brainstorm, you need to put your ideas together, you need to make a draft, you need to edit your draft, you need to make your final document. That's what the writing process. Editing, the use of punctuation and capitalization. There's something we'll be teaching you, that is you give you a passage, maybe just one paragraph, and in the passage there will be mistakes. There will be mistakes. It is your duty to read through the text to correct the mistakes, and then write the correct thing onto the answer booklet for the examiner. But that is a very interesting thing. We will talk about it. Then we will talk about spelling rules. Spelling rules. There are rules that will guide spelling, and that will make spelling easy for you, so that you can spell words without making mistakes. It is not always that you can have access to a computer to type your things. The computer can signal to you that a particular word is wrong or is misspelled, but then it is not always the case. There are cases where you need to write on paper, and if you don't master the skill of spelling well, then you can have difficulty at those times. For example, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Write the word skip. 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 Are you writing?
Yes, sir.
Now, when we come to a Zoom meeting, it's a classroom. So I'm expecting you to put your notebook by your side or jotter. And if you be making notes, it is not enough for you to just be listening on to be listening. You need to take down notes. Now, skip. If you put on a word skip, put on a word step, STEP. Then put on a word begin. Begin. Now, assuming that you want to form the ing form of these words, what happens? Assuming these words that I mentioned,
one of the last letter.
One of the last, what does it mean by one of the?
Like
the
skip.
skip
When you are
additional
then the
or
ing. You add another P before the ing.
Okay. So how will you say it?
Skipping.
No,
Skipping.
no. This particular pattern that you have observed, how will you say it? You say you add the last letter. How will you summarize it? How will you say it?
So it will be skipping.
I don't mean that. The pattern that you
You
have
add
observed.
the last letter of the word before you add the ing.
Okay, you add the last letter of the word. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. How will you say it? She has said this. How will you say it? How will you also say it? She says you add the last letter. How will you also say it? Okay, it's fine. You double the last letter and add ing to it, maybe, or you repeat you repeat the last sound, the last letter. Okay, so there are rules like that. We'll look at one or two those things that confuse students or confuse us as academicians. We will see how we can beat those traps. Then we're talking about discourse types. Discourse type basically has to do with the form of text. Is it narrative kind of text? Is it descriptive kind of text? Is it expository? Or is it argumentative? Now, when you see these things, you see this type of text, what are the features? What are the features of this text? Maybe when you went to secondary school, you may have read some books, did literature. In the literature class, probably you were told that this is prose, this is a drama, this is a play. The structure of each of those things are different. I'm just using that as a background to explain this into you. So when you see a text which is narrative, how will it look like? For example, narrative kind of things like a prose, maybe like prose is just continuous, like a storybook. If you read a book, if you have read this book before, things fall apart. Things fall apart. It's a prose. But now, when we talk about narrative, descriptive, and expository, argumentative, there are things that are peculiar to some of these structures. If something is argumentative, what are some of the words that you often see there? What is the tone? What is the structure? If the thing is expository, what will the person be doing there? What are some of the things that we see there? Sophia, mute your system. There's somebody called Sophia. Is it Sombonat or Sombona or what? Sophia. Sombona. If you are close to her, tell her to mute the system. It's still open. Now, so then let's go to this one. Vocabulary development. Vocabulary development. In every language, there is a way the language adds to the new words that are already, words that are already existing. We add new words to the existing ones. Every language does it. For example, most of the words that we have in English language are not English words per se, they are borrowed. So we're looking at coinage, borrowing, compounding, blending, clipping, and conversion. We'll discuss those things, and then we go to meaning relation, synonyms and antonyms. Then problems associated with vocabulary use. There are, let's say, we have commonly confused words. There are words that confuse us. They sound the same, but the spelling are not the same. For example, you can have a word like WEATHER, WEATHER. But then you can have a similar one which is what WHETHR. Those words they sound similar, they're not the same spelling. Some students confuse these things in writing. Or maybe let's say sees, S-E-A, sorry, C-E-A-S-E. C-E-A-S-E. Then we also have S-E-I-Z-E. S-E-I-Z-E. Now, those things may sound the same, but they are not the same. And we will try to see how we can avoid using one in place of the other in our in certain sentences. We're talking about morphemes. Morphemes, how words are built together, how words are formed. There is a root of the word. Then we add something to the root. You add something to the root. For example, when I say hydrate, I can add something in front of hydrate to form dehydrate. I can add something to the end of this to form dehydration. So we want to see how we can build words. We are building words. What is the root? What is the first thing that comes? And as we continue to build the words, what meaning do we have for the bigger, the expanded form and all that? Okay, there are some books that you may need to get to help you. Adika, GSK, Deviant Usage and Confusing Words. Adika, I think this one you can get it online. Campbell, ESI, resources book for engineers and scientists. Campbell, paragraph writing. Greenbaum, Oxford English Grammar. Hawk, first step in academic writing. Jordan, English for academic purposes. Kelly, Odyssey, from paragraph to essay. Longman, college writing skills. Moon, academic honesty, plagiarism, and cheating. Opoku Ajiman, a handbook for writing skills. Quirk and Greenbaum, University Grammar of English. Ramage, the Ellen and Bacon Guide for Writing. Renat, Giving Academic Presentations. Radel, Teaching Content, Writing and Reading. Sechibedu, Learning and Communicating. Now, Sechibedu, I bought this book at Winneba, University College of Winneba. So if you stay around Cape Coast, Winneba, you can get it around that place. Sechibedu is a very good book. SPAT, Writing from Sources. Then Uedu, Organized English Structure. This book is also very good for grammar. You can get it at Legon Bookshop, maybe on Track Cape Coast too. If you live around Hokwe, you can get it in Hokwe, opposite Melcom. There's a very good bookshop there. If you happen to be around, we can go to Azuma Bookshop. Azuma Bookshop, opposite, I think NIB also. You can get it from there. This last book is one of the books we are going to use. If you're able to get it, that is fine. Then Sechibedu. It's also good. If you can get them. And apart from these two books, And if you get a book on writing or reading, if you go to a library, you can get a lot of those books. Most of them are hardcover books, but they are very good. Now, so this is a course outline. I don't know whether I have any questions on the course outline. Any questions? Hello.
Hi.
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 Please, you said Sechibedu,
Yes.
and which one again? You mentioned two books.
Uredu.
Good.
JF
Red.
Wiredu. Wiredu is Wiredu. Wiredu.
Okay.
JF. And the title
Okay,
of course,
Sechibedu and Red.
Library.
I posted the course outline to you, so they are on the course outline. Those are I think if you go to the last three books there, last three, or you see them there. Sechibedu's book is Learning and Communicating. And then Uredu's book is Organized English Structure. Organized English Structure.
Okay, thank you.
Now, if you don't have any questions, then let's look at lesson 1 for today of our course. Then we close for today. Lesson 1, I'll share my screen with you. I sent the slides to you already anyway. So as we went to the course outline, when we went to the course outline, we saw that the first item there is what? Developing reading skills. 14, mute your system. Teresa, what's the name? Teresa something. It looks like some people, I don't know how to describe them, so because I don't want to say anything to offend anybody. Mute your system. You mute it, or you mute it for them. The next 5 minutes, they open it again. Then they are talking. Mute your system. You do it. In the next 5 minutes, it's open. And somebody is talking in the background. Why? Now, so we come to developing reading skills. Now we want to look at it in detail. If you can see my screen, then read for me.
Academic and one.
Yes.
You has 107. Developing reading skills. Akoli Innocent Selassie. University of Health and Allied Sciences.
I think we went through the objectives already. Students should be familiar with the elements of the communication process, be familiar with the language skills that are necessary to communicate in the university, and then be familiar with the linguistic resources that they need to perform the various communicative activities in the university. We look at them already. Now, so let's talk about what are the skills that you will develop here. We will develop listening, we will develop speaking, we will develop reading, we will develop writing, and then we will develop note taking. We also develop fast reading skills. Now, some of these things that we're teaching you may be helpful for some of you who want to take some courses later. Like some of you will say they want to take IELTS. Okay, Ghana, they call it, we say IELTS. Some of the skills that we develop here can help you to take those kind of tests. for those who claim they want to travel and go and work as nurses. But I don't encourage you to travel. I don't encourage all of you to leave anyway. When you leave, your parents, your grandfather, your grandmothers will be in the country waiting for you. And if there are no nurses to take care of them, they will call you and tell you that they are dead. So if everybody goes, who will remain here? Okay. Now, so you develop.
The condition of service is not good.
Oh, but it's not good. It's not good for all of us now. It's not good for all of us. Even those of you who travel to the UK or the US to go and work as nurses. When you go there, your salary may be even better than somebody who's a lecturer here. We know that. Yes, but the question is, if everybody leaves, who will be there? Who will be here to work?
So our leaders have to do something about it, but they refuse.
Okay, no problem. So specific objectives. Specific objectives means what you are going to achieve in the short term. Let's say at the end of this semester, what are we going to achieve? To read, we mentioned them already in a way. Read critically and identify the main ideas in the text. Listen effectively and to pay attention to grammar. We mentioned this already. Now, so the first thing I want to talk about is skimming. We saw skimming when we were going through the course outline. We saw skimming. What is skimming? If you went to a good school and you were taught by a good English language teacher, he probably will mention this word skimming in your summary writing class or comprehension lessons. Skimming is to read through a text fast or quickly to have a general idea about the text. So when you are given a passage, probably your teacher will say, read through the first time so that you can familiarize yourself with whatever the passage is about. That is true. And it's true in our case here too. However, our case goes a bit beyond this. Beyond this. When you see a book in a library or you are given a text, paper, a document, or report, here we are advised to do what? Read the titles and subtitles. Read introduction to the text. Read introduction to the first paragraph. Read graphs, charts, and pictures. Read summaries of paragraphs. Read items which are bold, which are in bold print. Read items that are in bold print and read things that are in italics. Things that are in italics. So if you go to a library or go to read a book, because you are given prescribed text or prescribed books, don't just go and read any book in nursing. Titles can look alike. Read title, read subtitle, and be sure that this is a book that was prescribed for me. It may be true that not every word that is prescribed by the teacher or the lecturer is what you need to read in a way.
But when you open down, the person will start to let you that.
Now, so read the title, even read the author. Who is the author? You may see a book, Introductory to Nursing or Introduction to Nursing. You see another book, Introduction to Nursing, but the authors are different. Which one was prescribed for us? Which one was the text that the lecturer has placed on a reading list for us. So read the titles, subtitles, and this and what, and find out whether this book is good for me. Find out whether this book is in my domain. Find out whether this book will be beneficial to me in the 1 year or 6 months or 3 months course I'm doing. Am I supposed to reading this book? Will it help me within the time frame? If it won't help you, why don't you drop it? So skimming in our case is reading. No, you cannot read like a book is like 360 pages. How are you going to be able to run your eyes over 300 pages to know the content? Then it can take you so many days to finish that one book, or maybe a whole 2, 3, 4 weeks. So read the title. If it's something like there's something we call preface or introduction, read it. You can make good to the table of contents. These are the topics in this book, or they don't look like the one that we are doing in class. So I don't think it will help me. Something like that. Now scanning.
So do people come for excursion?
Yeah, they come.
Students.
Normally. A lot, not only students.
Mavis Abua or Abua. Mavis Abua. Mute your system.
That's why some
Mavis.
people we don't have knowledge about it. It is like
Mavis.
When you come,
Mavis.
now everyone here. But well, if you are so far away, you hear.
you hear the place, but when you come,
Now, talking about scanning, it's reading fast to locate specific information. Know the difference between skimming and scanning is very important. Reading fast to locate specific information. Now, let's look at this scenario. Let's say you are traveling and then you see somebody sitting by your side who has a newspaper. Then you spot a headline, for example, fuel prices to increase, or fuel prices have increased. Then you want to get a specific percentage of the increase. Assuming that you bought the paper from a person, your focus will be what is the percentage increase. So in that case, you are looking for specific information. That's your concern at that time. That is what you want to do at that time. So what do? You don't need to read the whole text. Read to locate specific information. If you are looking for someone's name, look for capital letters which begin the name. You may have to skip over portions of the text, which is true in a way. Then if you were looking for some percentage, look for figures, etc. So reading through to locate specific information, that is what scanning. Okay. Then the next reading method is what we call intensive reading. Intensive reading. Reading for meaning and understanding. Reading with specific learning aims and tasks. You want to read for meaning, you must understand the text. What are the situations that demand that? What situations demand that you read with understanding? Let's say you are analyzing a report, or you want to look at a client's documents, or maybe you are in a court and you're supposed to read through the documents well, or you are supposed to sign something. Most of the time, for those of us in Ghana, when they say sign a document, people just sign without reading. One day you sign and see that you sign away your life or you sign away your money, your total money in life, you got to read before you sign. So read intensively, read intensive reading, read for meaning. Reader must read with specific aim. For example, reading to locate points to write in examination. What is the aim for reading? You cannot just, okay, if you want to just read because you are not doing anything, we'll talk about that later. There's a reading type which takes care of that. But then, reading for meaning, you want to get meaning and understanding. So that is what intensive reading. Intensive reading. Now, reader must read for meaning. Okay. If you want to read and it is not intensive, then it is likely for reading for pleasure. You want to read for pleasure. That is called extensive reading. You read any book, the book is not prescribed for you. But you just think that I need to just read. It could be you are a nurse, all right, but it could be that you get a book on cooking, you get a book on space travel, you get a book on birds migrating from Africa to America. So you want to just read to occupy yourself or to while away time. We call it reading for pleasure. It could be any topic. And why do we want to do that? Read to broaden your knowledge. People think that because I'm a nurse, then whatever I know in this world must be on nursing only. That is not correct. People, apart from the subject is study, if you ask them a question about any aspect of life, you don't know anything. Read something. Read something. Migration, diplomacy, what do you call it? Works. Read something. Not necessarily your nursing or your physics or chemistry or your linguistics only. Otherwise, you'll be narrow-minded, kind of, you are restricted to a small area. Read something, get some knowledge. Then you read to acquire some vocabulary or expressions. Read to enrich your personal knowledge. Read to have a general knowledge of life around you. Yes. If you want to travel or you want to board a plane, what are something happened there? If you get document, read. Just, you are not an aviation officer, but at least you know something. You see, when you want to cook this kind of meals, how do they do it? If you just want to read those who smoke cigarettes, what are the effects on them? What is read anything? Okay. Then we go to reading for comprehension. Reading for comprehension. Read to understand what you read. If you cannot understand what you read, then you have not read. If you can answer questions based on the passage read, then you have understood it. It also means that if you cannot answer questions based on a passage, you do not understand. At the secondary school level, there is a section of the examination. I think for even junior high school students, you have what they call comprehension. They give you a passage, then based on that, the questions are asked. If you do not understand the passage, you can answer the questions. It's very clear and it's so straightforward. Then try to get meaning of words in context. This one, I might run a lesson for you on this. It is not always that you need to take a dictionary to be able to get a meaning of words. The words which surround a particular word can help you to get a meaning of a particular word. In other words, you should be asking yourself, what word can I use to replace this one in context so that it will fit? So try to develop the skill of getting meaning in context. You can try to guess the meaning of words and later confirm in a dictionary. That is the way you train yourself. So it is not every time that you need to reach out for a dictionary. Somebody will say he will get a dictionary on a telephone, on a phone or device. But there are cases where there are network problems. So what happens then? And in the examination room, you cannot use a dictionary. However, if you are supposed to replace a word with another word, as you are going to do this semester, I'm going to do this semester. So try to get the meaning of words in context. We will talk about SQ3R at our next meeting, not today. But I want to bring the curtains on today's lesson at this point. And before we close, let me ask you, what have you learned today? What have you learned today? Are you there?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Oh, you don't mind me? Rejoice Nelly. Rejoice
Sir,
Nelly.
we
Yes.
Yes, sir. Please, today I learned about developing reading skills and the various skills that one needs to develop. That's listening, speaking, reading, writing, and note taking. And
Okay.
I also learned on skimming, the meaning of skimming, and we said reading through a text fast to have a general idea about the text,
Okay.
like reading
Okay. It's all right.
titles.
Yeah, very good. I don't want you to see everything. Otherwise, some people will not have anything to say.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I
Thank
see
you.
Emwako Valentina.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I've learned something about scanning. This is reading to give a specific info. Difference between scanning and skimming is that for scanning you just read through the sentence without taking it. But for scanning, you take note on specific facts to know the specific information about the sentence or the passage.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw some Musa Emmanuel Dubik.
Sir, I have a question.
That is.
The question is that, sir, please let's assume a student enters examination hall with
Yes.
a foreign material copy.
Okay.
Now, the student reads through the questions and realize that he sees a specific question, let's say state of matter.
Okay.
Now, he goes to the textbook, the foreign material he brought into the examination hall to now look for the states of matter. Now, is he now doing scanning or intensive reading? At this point, he's only looking for state of matter in the whole text.
Musa, this question is difficult. So, what do you think? What do you think?
But I
I
think maybe it's
think it's
scanning, but I don't know whether it's intensive reading.
What do you think the person is doing?
the person is doing intensive reading.
He's
You
scanning.
sure? It's scanning. Okay.
It's scanning.
It's scanning.
Scanning.
It's scanning.
Okay. because he's looking
It's
for specific
scanning.
information.
Yes, scanning.
So
Yes.
he just want the specific things to write there at that
Yes.
moment.
Okay.
Yes.
Examination
Yeah.
pressure.
Musa, your question has been answered.
It's scanning.
Musa, your question
Thank
has
you.
been answered. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes. What have you learned today? Or if you have any questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
This is the intensive reading part of the types of reading.
Yes.
Okay. No, it's not intensive. The extensive reading.
Yes. If you look at a course outline, as you saw earlier, it is a type of reading.
For pleasure.
Yes.
Okay.
If you can see my screen now, you can see it here.
I can see the screen, but I can't see the things. My eyes is so. The things are small.
Unfortunately,
Zoom it yourself.
if at this point you cannot see still, you cannot still see, then you need deliverance.
But yes.
Yes, somebody raised up his or her hand, so I don't know who that person is. I saw a hand. Patience, clue. Patience, clue. Patience, clue. If you don't have any further questions, then I move that this meeting come to a close.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I second.
Now, this is next. When do we meet again?
Saturday.
Next week.
Saturday.
Next week.
Yes, next week. That'll be next week Friday, or?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, very good. I will try to download the recorded version of the Zoom and I'll post it to you.
Okay,
I'll put it on YouTube for you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, then I wish you well.
All the
Thank you,
best.
sir.
You now,
All right.
Thank you, sir.